Hi, this is Ant from Speakerstack Music. In today's video, we're going to add in a bass synth into our Ableton dance track using Ableton's Analogue instrument. Again, this is one of a number of videos where we're going to create a dance track in 100 minutes. In the last video, we added in a sub bass, and in the video before that, we added in a drum kit using Ableton's Impulse instrument. So let's go in and add in another MIDI track for our bass synthesizer, rename that as bass synth. We're going to use Ableton's Analogue instrument to create it, and again, rather than using one of the existing Analogue presets, we're going to actually drop the instrument in itself and then change some of the settings on that instrument just to give us the sound we want. So we want to have it on using the oscillator, so we're going to have that on. And we also want to apply a filter, but we want to roll back the frequency and apply some resonance to it, just to give it a little bit more of a kind of a squelchier tone. We want to keep the level of the sound at about 12 decibels and keep the overall volume at about minus 6 decibels. And we've also got oscillator 2 on, and I think we leave the rest of the settings for the time being. But we also do need to go in and just change the amp sound. So as you can see, you can actually change the shape of the sound as it progresses. And I'm looking for something which is a bit more simple and flat, so I'm going to roll that back and just put that in place like that. The next thing I'm going to do is just add some EQ onto that. So again, going to Audio Effects to EQ8, dragging that into the bass synthesizer, and apply a high pass filter at about 100 Hertz, just to take off that bottom end, because we don't want these bass synth notes interfering with the sub bass and the kick, which are down here in these lower frequencies. So you need to make sure that you're positioning instruments in the right place in the frequency range so you don't actually muddy up the mix. I'm going to drop in a chorus, and that's probably about right at about 50%. But we can tweak that as we go along. Add in some reverb, which I'm going to roll back to about 30% on the reverb. And in terms of the notes, so we're looking for something that's going to be on the offbeat. So with a dance track, you want the bass to propel the sound forward, and if you drop the notes onto the offbeats, you can create that sense of movement and motion and the driving the song forward. So we're going to go in, click on the section of the track, create a clip, open that up, and draw some notes in. Again, we don't want these in the higher octave ranges because it's a bass synth. We want it in the lower ranges. Just roll that back. Fantastic. So I think what we'll do is we'll drop something on the offbeat. Let's just hear how this sounds. So rather than drawing all of that out, I'm going to just start with some notes that we drop into that first bar, duplicate them, and I'm going to duplicate it again so we've got them covering the whole of that. Let's just make sure they're in time. So we've got some notes in there, but we really don't want to leave it like that because obviously it's quite boring. So I'm going to just start to mix up the notes at the other end. So again, we're going to put these bass synth notes in around D sharp on this bit, just to kind of copy and emulate the notes that we've got in the sub bass. And then again, do something a little bit different with these final notes. So I think we'll put some notes in between these sections. Let's try something up here. See how that sounds. Great stuff. So we've got something there that sounds quite interesting. I'm just going to duplicate that across so it's covering all of the track again. I just need one more at the end there. But I'm just going to vary it a little bit again on some of these other sections just to add a little bit of variety. So we'll go into this bit and just mix up some of those notes a little bit. So I quite like that end bit, but I'm just going to drag those two up a little bit, add them on there, just see if that makes a difference in terms of how that sounds. Fantastic. So I've copied across that different pattern into those sections of the song where we've got the sub bass varying the notes as well, so that it's actually emulating what we're playing in the sub bass. Let's just go in to that bass synth and just have a quick play around with some of the sound on this. I just want to make the sound a little bit more crisper. So you can really hear there, if I play around with the frequency and the resonance in the analog instrument, you can actually change the sound using a kind of a filtering technique on that sound and get some really nice synthesizer sounds coming out just by tweaking the resonance and the frequency on the analog instrument and parameters. Fantastic. So we've added in a bass synth now, so the song is really starting to take shape. In the next video, we're going to add in some more analog synthesizers just to fill the sound out a little bit. So thank you again for watching. If you like the video, if you like the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video.